The Premier League needs a competitive Manchester United. I believe this with every fiber of my being, and these last 4 games have shown it in its entirety. Wins against 2 of the best teams in the league, a mid-table fodder side, as well as a team that at the start of the season were seen as at the same level as Manchester United. It seems as though Manchester United are not back just yet, but are once again competitive. Before we go any further, if you guys are new to the channel and you like what you see, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the post notification bell so you never ever miss out on a video. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2026, and I cannot do it without your help. So please, if you like what you see and you want to come back, hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video. Let's get back into it. I genuinely believe that Manchester United being good, not even being the best team in the league, only serves to benefit the Premier League as a product. I think this season in particular, or even the past few seasons, there's been that feeling in the Premier League as though things are not as exciting as we would want them to be. Right now, Arsenal are by far and away the best team in the league, and you see a lot of the discourse around Arsenal and the Premier League being boring, the games being too predictable, and things, all in all, just not being that entertaining. Now, while I do believe that there is an element of spite behind that narrative because teams don't really want Arsenal to win the league, 1, because of how they play football, and 2, because they haven't won the league in so long, so it's funny to laugh at them and say, haha, you haven't won the league in a while. But I think Manchester United being good is just a depiction of everything good we see in the Premier League. Direct football, players having fun, the attackers being expressive in their play, quality footballers showing their passion, and just fans supporting the team that they love. Because one thing you can't say for Manchester United fans is they haven't supported this team. Whether it be Ruben Amorim, whether it be David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, they've sang throughout these seasons in the Stretford End, singing the days of Sir Alex Ferguson, the days of Eric Cantona, the days of George Best and Sir Bobby Charlton. And this is a club that's etched in the history of English football. This year marked, I believe it's the 58th anniversary of that tragic Munich disaster. And this is a football club that we've seen throughout the years has been one of the staples, not just in English, but European football. And I believe that when Manchester United are one of the better teams in the league is a better product. You look at these past few games, for example, and for me, I said I would give it a few games before I talked about Manchester United. And I was actually going to wait for the game against West Ham next week because I wanted to get a 5-game sample. I feel as though we've seen many times in the past where Manchester United do well and they beat teams such as an Arsenal, such as a Man City, these big games where you feel Manchester United shouldn't be winning these games because you watch their other games and you think, well, this isn't that great of a team. But I wanted to give it some time because we've seen this before. We've seen Manchester United go into these sort of games and win or get a good result. But then when they go and play against teams that they should beat, theoretically, they don't perform. But due to popular demand and also just watching the games with my eyes, I felt like I needed to make this video. Because to be very honest with you, what Manchester United are doing is very, very impressive. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys Manchester United are back or Manchester United are going to challenge for the league or Manchester United are going to be at the top of European football very soon. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying Michael Carrick is the manager for this team. But I think what Michael Carrick has done to this team, it's really just going back to the fundamentals and basics of football. I just got finished watching the game against Tottenham, and obviously Manchester United come out 2-0 victors. And firstly, before I even talk about Manchester United in depth, quick aside, Christian Romero, absolute bozo. Genuinely one of the most foolish players in all of world football. He's players of that ilk who can go out there genuinely and single-handedly kill your entire team. They go out there and they put on this hard man persona, and really and truly, he's a great player. He has qualities that are very, very high level. But then when you watch some of the games, and today another red card, I remember he got a red card earlier in the season, and this isn't the first time we've seen Christian Romero completely throw his team under the bus. A game in which I thought Tottenham were really competitive in those opening 30 minutes. And it was a really good game, a really good contest between the two sides. And this is a manager, Thomas Frank, who's already under enough pressure, who already has numbers of players out. And then your manager on the field, your captain, the player who you believe should represent who the manager is or what the manager is on the football field, he goes out there and does that. Dives into a tackle that he was never going to win against Casemiro and could have easily put Casemiro on the sidelines for a long time. I really don't understand how he's of the same mold of like a Ronald Araujo. And for some reason, these guys are getting the captain armband. Yet time after time after time after time, they go out there and they completely throw their team under the bus. But enough about Spurs and Thomas Frank. They have their own problems they need to work out. But this Manchester United team, really and truly, I'm just excited to watch Man United again. And I'm not even a Manchester United fan. I'm just excited to watch Manchester United again because they play so direct. There's the nuances you can talk about with this team that I think we could sit down and talk about it. The way they press is so much more lively than it was before. There's a bit more structure to it, even though Michael Carrick has only been here a few weeks even. It feels as though the players are putting in a bit more effort. And people will say, oh, well, the players kind of down tools. It's the players' fault that it didn't work under Ruben Amorim. I don't believe Ruben Amorim's tenure at the club failed because the players, threw in the towel or they down tools. I don't believe that for a second. I don't think this was a managerial change that happened or a managerial change that was off the back of toxicity with the players. I think the players were still playing for Amorim. Whether you believed in his tactics or not, which I definitely didn't, the players were playing for him, but they weren't playing well. I mean, you look at a player like Diogo Dalot, for example, just to pick an example. Diogo Dalot is not a fantastic right back, but Diogo Dalot is not an attacking right wing back. Because there's a huge difference between being an overlapping attacking fullback and being a fullback who holds the width for their entire team. Those are two completely different things. A player who has next to no support and is basically the only width for their team is very different from being a player who supports a player like Amad Diallo on that right-hand side. Those are two completely different things. And one of those skill sets matches Diogo Dalot's profile to a T. And that's the former, what you're seeing under Michael Carrick now. Not what Ruben Amorim had him doing. And that's what Michael Carrick has done. He's not come in and brought these revolutionary tactics. He's not come in and requested player upon player. He's not come in and thrown players under the bus. He's seen what he has, and he's put them in their right positions. He's played a back four. Of course, Amorim didn't have Martinez and Maguire available to him towards the end of his tenure. We can give him that benefit. But at the same time, a player like Kobbie Mainoo, this is a player who Ruben Amorim told us cannot play in a midfield three. This is a player Ruben Amorim told us needs to develop to play in the Premier League. Guys, I keep on saying on this channel, quality will always beat. Quality will always win in football. Will always win in football. And Kobbie Mainoo is quality. His ability to play in tight spaces. He's neat and tidy on the ball. He can spin out of pressure. He can drop deep and be the first man who picks up the ball from the defense. He can play out of the pressure. He's neat and tidy outside of the box. He has a shot on him. He can create chances. He's able to sometimes drop deep while Casemiro goes forward, and then sometimes he'll play a bit more advanced alongside Bruno. He has incredible, synergy with the likes of Cunha, with the likes of Mbeumo, with the likes of Bruno. How can you say this is a player who shouldn't be playing for Manchester United week in, week out? Especially when the player who you were playing ahead of him, the player who was getting much more minutes than him, is an Ugarte. How is that even something you even think about? And I don't want to make this video about Ruben Amorim, but genuinely, I look at this team now and I say, how was Ruben Amorim getting away with all that? How was he? How was he doing that? You continue talking about other players in the team who didn't look great under Ruben Amorim. Bryan Mbeumo, Matheus Cunha. These are two players who were two of the best players in the Premier League last season. And Manchester United fans were criticizing them under Ruben Amorim. They were criticizing them. And now you look at them, they look reborn. Cunha looks reborn in this team. He looks like a player that has freedom. He looks like a player who's galvanized to play for the team, galvanized to play for the shirt. And that's what it means to play for a team like Manchester United. At least my depiction of Manchester United is a team who goes out there, they express themselves, they play with a bit of freedom. They play with that gung-ho mentality of trying to win games, irrespective of what's happening, irrespective of the players available, irrespective of the situation, irrespective of the minute in the game. That's the way you're supposed to play at Manchester United. And we've seen it in these last few performances. The game against Manchester City, genuinely, Manchester United were incredible. They could have won that game 4-5, 6-0. And I've said it to you guys before. When Man City are bad, Man City are atrocious. And if not for Donnarumma, they could have lost that game 5-6, 7-0. Genuinely. And Matheus Cunha was incredible in that game. And then you move on to the Arsenal game. He doesn't start the game. But Carrick gives him that ability, gives him that opportunity to come off the bench. He brings him off the bench, brings on Sesko. And look at the goal Cunha scores. Look at the goals they scored against Arsenal. And that Arsenal game was a completely different game plan to what they played against Manchester City. Against Man City, they were a bit more aggressive, a bit more assertive. They were able to play in behind a lot more. Against Arsenal, you're playing a bit more cagey. You're kind of playing within yourselves because you're playing away at the league leaders. You can't be as kamikaze as you were at home against Manchester City. You can't, especially with how good that Arsenal defense is. But they picked their moments. They dragged Arsenal out. They brought the press onto them. Then they played over the top. The likes of Mbeumo, the likes of Cunha, the likes of Bruno, getting onto those passes, causing chaos, creating a bit of nervousness in the Arsenal defense. That's what they did. That's simply what they did. And again, today it's similar things. We saw it against Fulham. And these two games, Fulham and Spurs, for me, are bigger indications of where this team is in comparison to games against Man City and Arsenal, because anybody can get up to play Man City and Arsenal. Anybody can get up to play Man City and Arsenal. Those are the two best teams in the league. Anybody will get up to play those games. But when you're playing against a Fulham at home, I believe it was at a 3 p.m. kickoff, you're playing a team in the mid-table. Those are the sort of wins you need to pick up. That's the sort of wins that Arsenal have mastered at this point in time. Those are the 3 points you need to be picking up if you want to see any sort of performance in this league. And then today you come up against a Spurs side who beat you in the Europa League final. A team, when coming into the season, many would have said, oh yeah, them and Manchester United, they're the same level. And today you just, even though I do think the red card helped them a lot, I think today Man United were clearing away the better team. Even with 11 men, I think they were the better team. Now, it wasn't as big of a disparity with 11 men, but I think they were still the better team. They created more chances. They looked a bit more incisive. They looked like the team who wanted to make things happen. They were probing. Honestly, it's been incredible to watch from Manchester United. As I said, and I'll continue to say, this is not the finished product. They still have a lot of problems, even though I do think the defense looks a lot more compact. They look like they can defend their box. They look like they can withstand pressure. We saw it against Arsenal. Arsenal are the best team in the league, and they kept them to very few chances. Very few chances. And going the other way, when you have dynamic players who are willing to run, who are willing to go in behind, who are willing to interplay, it feels like Manchester United are coming up with their plays on the fly. And sometimes that's really all you need. When you have quality players, and this notion before with Ruben Amorim, I saw a lot of people after Amorim was sacked, they were saying that, oh, well, the players are not good enough. It's the players once again. And that keeps on being the narrative. Oh, it's the players. But guys, this Premier League is not that great. In terms of quality of players, it's not that great. I mean, you look at Arsenal, for example, the best team in the league. They don't have a single world-class attacker. Manchester City, the second best team in the league, they don't have you could argue they don't have a single world-class defender other than maybe Gueye, maybe Vardio, half and half. Even you keep on moving forward, their midfield, the only world-class midfielder they have is just coming back from an 18-month injury. There's not that much incredible quality in this league. So when I looked at people and they were telling me, oh, well, Manchester United are not good. Manchester United don't have great players. Where's the baseline? So what's good in this league? Are you really trying to tell me that Martinez isn't a good center back? I'm not saying he's world class, but is that what you're trying to tell me? Are you trying to tell me Kobe Mainoo's not a good player, Casemiro's not a good player, Bruno's not a good player, Buemo's not a good player, Cunha's not a good player? These are good players. These are good players and they can play good football. And I always say in football, when you play good football, you buy yourself time. Even if the results aren't matching, you buy yourself time. Because you have the fans on their seat. They're on the edge of their seat. They're looking forward. They're optimistic every time they watch the team. They can see an angle. But when you don't play good football, when you play very lackadaisical, when you play from side to side, when it's very robust and rigid, people are going to grow tired of you. People are going to grow tired of you, even if you're getting results. Even if you're getting results. And the last man I want to talk about before this video ends, I feel it would be a disservice to make a Manchester United video without talking about him, Bruno Fernandes. Right now, Bruno Fernandes is playing at world-class levels. This is a word that's been thrown around so many times. Who's world-class? Who isn't? Bruno Fernandes is world-class. He currently sits at 12 Premier League assists, and he's looking at that Thierry Henry record with laser eye vision. Because right now, Bruno Fernandes is not only creating chances with ease, he's running football games. He's dropping deep to support the defenders in build-up. He's making runs in behind. He's the first man to press because Cunha isn't as intense in his press compared to Bruno Fernandes. He's able to score goals. He's very, very creative in the way that he plays, creates chances that many other players would not even think of playing. His ability to run with the ball, his ability to be just a presence for Manchester United on the football field. It feels as though when Bruno Fernandes has the ball, anything can happen for Man United. Some of the assists catalog that he has this season, some of the assists are just incredible to look at. The assist for Sesko, an incredible ball. The assist for Mbuemo, the assist for Diallo against Man United, against Manchester City. This looks like a player who is playing at the peak of his ability. We've seen Bruno Fernandes in the Premier League year after year after year show us incredible levels after incredible levels in a Manchester United team that, relatively speaking in their history, have not been the standard. But Bruno Fernandes, irrespective of the timeline, irrespective of the players around him, irrespective of which era of Man United you want to speak about, Bruno Fernandes meets the standard time after time after time. Club captain of the football team and a true illustration of what Manchester United represents. Bruno Fernandes right now is playing at an incredible level, probably the best level we've ever seen in his career, if I'm being honest with you, and long may it continue because, as I always say, quality players always rise to the top. The way Manchester United are playing right now, long may it continue because in an era where, in my opinion, the best team in the league are not that great to watch, the second best team in the league are very inconsistent, it's always good to have a team that you can sit down and watch and genuinely enjoy watching football. Manchester Uniteds of the world, even Liverpool, as many weaknesses as they have, to sit down and watch a Hugo Ekitike, to sit down and watch a Florian Wirtz, that gets me excited. Chelsea as well, I would love to sit down and watch them and get excited, but Cole Palmer is struggling right now. Esteval is in and out of the side, and you have players in the attacking areas of the field where I don't think they're that great. Neto, Garnacho. We need the attacking players to take hold of this league again. I saw some discussions online this week talking about who are the top 5 players in the Premier League, and I think the consensus, well, not really the consensus, but a lot of people were saying the likes of Haaland, right? The Brunos, the Rices, and some people were saying Saliba and Gabriel. Now, all due respect to Saliba and Gabriel, top center backs in their own right. But at least the way I view the game, I don't see the best players in the world being defenders. And I think if your best players in your league are defenders, I think that tells you everything you need to know about the league. But let me know what you guys think about everything I discussed. How do you see Manchester United right now? Are Manchester United back? I don't think they're back, but you always have to ask this question. But as I always say, if you guys have any thoughts, let me know down in the comment section down below. If you like the video, hit that like button. If you enjoyed the content that you're seeing, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the post notification bell so you never ever miss out on a video. And as always, thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves.